Numerology Secrets, Life Path Number 7 The Complete Guide. What is Life Path Number 7? The life path number, also known as the destiny number, is the number that results from the numerological reduction of your date of birth. It offers insight about the core of your personality, and will also give you a greater understanding of the pathway to success in your life. Life path number 7 is a cerebral, intellectual number, with a mysterious air about them, and a tendency towards philosophy that can be either incredibly inspiring or deeply cynical. Sevens have the opportunity to be some of the most enlightened people of any life path, or if maladaptive, some of the most dangerously self-destructive. It is up to you to decide how to healthily use your life path number. You appreciate a quiet life, with plenty of time for solitary thinking and introspection. You're quite introverted, and find large groups of people draining to spend time with. However, if you do not have at least a few meaningful relationships with other people who truly understand your mind, then you will quickly become cynical about the world and descend into a state of depression that it is difficult to drag yourself out of. It can be very challenging for people on life path number 7 to come to a satisfactory balance between what they need for their own sanity, and what they need to do to retain a place in the outside world. Some sevens find the mere idea of trying to find a place in the outside world difficult or even unappealing. Why should they change themselves for others, they ask. The truth is that sevens need the world as much as the world needs sevens. You are the spiritual philosophers who encourage people to seek truth and meaning. Without you, the world would be brutish and mean. But you have a symbiotic relationship, because without the brutishness of the world, you would have no higher truth to seek after. One tragic story of a seven losing his balance between the cerebral and the real occurred in recent memory with the tragic death of Heath Ledger. It's well known that his incredibly successful performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight took a toll on his mental health, affecting his ability to sleep because he could not stop thinking about it, which eventually contributed to his overdose on prescription sleeping and anti-anxiety medications. Ledger isn't the only seven who's met an unfortunate end. Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana were also both sevens. This doesn't mean that you're destined for tragedy by any means, but it does mean that you need to be careful of the effects of your own mind on your health. Also, if it makes you feel any better, Taylor Swift, Julia Roberts, and Leonardo DiCaprio are also all sevens. You're a creative bunch. Sevens are prone to this type of hyper-overthinking, and it can lead them to severe states of mental instability if they are not careful. You must find the balance between not shutting down your incredible mind, while also not ignoring the details of the material world, however tempting it might be to give them all up and retreat completely into a monk-like life of devotion and thought. By unlocking the path meaning of Life Path 7, and coming to a fuller understanding of how it affects your outlook on life, you can use the positive points of the seventh path to your advantage, and find ways to avoid becoming entrapped by the negative parts. Life path number 7 in love and romance. Some numerologists warn that 7 is the least likely destiny number of all to get and stay married. Your desire for independence, combined with a difficulty opening up to others, are not generally the best qualities for a long-term relationship. It would be ridiculous, however, to suggest that sevens can't have happy relationships. In fact, if healthily adapted and paired with people who understand them, a relationship with a 7 can be one of the most fulfilling and meaningful of all numbers. Your happiness does not depend on long-term relationships, and you are far more inclined than many other numbers, 4 and 2, for example, to find a single life desirable. If this is the case for you, then don't let anyone tell you that you should do otherwise. The single life has a myriad of benefits, which you should absolutely enjoy to the fullest extent possible. If, however, you are one of many number 7s who is seeking a relationship but unsure how to form meaningful and lasting romances with others, read on. Seek a partner who is your intellectual match, or superior. You want an intellectual challenge. It is also very important that 7 chooses an introverted partner. If you try to romance an extrovert, you will probably burn out very quickly, because your partner needs more interaction, while you need more solitude, in order to gain energy. The above are qualities that can be found in every life path number. Almost all have a range of introverts and extroverts, and undoubtedly all have a range of intellectual levels. When it comes to compatibility based on life path number, 7 is most compatible with 5, since 5 is another highly intellectual number. A 5 will always challenge and never bore you. 3 is another good potion, based on similar qualities, although some 3s are a little too unfocused for you, and you may see them as superficial. However, the powerful imagination and optimism of the 3rd of May be very beneficial for pulling you out of philosophical ruts, so even if you don't pursue a relationship with one, you should certainly have a couple of 3 friends. 7 is not generally well suited to relationships with 1, 4 or 8, since all three of these signs are very focused on the material world, which does not sit very well with the spiritual 7. You may also feel that 2 and 6 are overly sentimental, although some have a sense of spiritual empathy that suits you well. Relationships with other 7s, or with 9s, can be very philosophically meaningful, but run the risk of being extremely cold and distant, since neither of you will be very willing to open up to the other. Again, these signs are better as friends or partners than romantic interests. A note: remember, as always, that numerological compatibility is not a substitute for the human factor that makes all of us unique. If it were as easy as compatible destiny numbers, you might as well be the exact same person as anyone born on the same day. Always take personal variations into account. Life path number 7 in careers and business. 7 is not a number that always has an easy time succeeding in business. In numerology, 7 represents the spiritual, not the physical, which means that pursuits based mainly on the physical world, the way most businesses, don't sit well with the 7. You have an especially difficult time doing work that you are not entirely morally behind. If a 7 goes into corporate culture, banking, politics, or any type of big business, they will quickly become so painfully cynical and disillusioned that it will be a struggle to even get up and go to work, much less put in effort when they're there. Taking this into consideration, the first thing that a 7 should do when choosing a career path is evaluate the ethical and moral situation of the prospective career. Many 7s are drawn to work at non-profit organizations, museums, or research, since humanitarianism, the preservation of art and history, and developing new knowledge are all things that appeal to your morals. 7s are very well suited to academic careers, since you are so intellectual and such a good seeker into puzzles and problems. Research in the hard sciences is very appealing, but so is work in the humanities, social sciences, or liberal arts. Some of the greatest philosophers of history have been 7s, so it's only natural that if your destiny number is 7, you'd be similarly drawn to philosophy. You don't have a very strong competitive streak, and are much more likely to voluntarily forfeit than put up a fight in a competition, which means that you should avoid any career while being cutthroat aggressive is a necessary qualification. You simply won't have success in such a field, and will quickly develop a feeling of futility surrounding it. Ensure that your work does not throw you into constant interactions with people. Total solitude is not a requisite, but you will do better if you're not dealing with a constant barrage of people asking the same question over and over. Your patience would quickly wear very thin. Also, try to seek work that allows at least one of the following: some degree of autonomy in terms of exactly how you spend your time, a variety of different types of work and projects that will stretch your problem-solving and lateral thinking skills, and/or a reasonable amount of free time, in which you can pursue other interests outside of the workplace. By finding work with these qualities, you can prevent the sense of boredom and entrapment that gives so many 7s a difficult time in the workplace. You can, instead, harness the number 7's meaning of intellectual energy and skill in order to be successful both in the workplace and beyond. Finding fulfillment on life path number 7. Despite the prevalent cultural association of phenomenal good luck with the number 7, numerology provides a much more nuanced picture of the possibilities for a 7. However, the fact that 7 is the lucky number in Western culture shouldn't be discounted. It is meaningful, and for many 7s indicates a great deal of fulfillment if they can find a way to be as successful in the outside world as they are at internal puzzles. 7s are very in touch with the powerful energies of the universe, which is why so many are so deeply philosophical and spiritual. You have a profound sense of something greater in the world, and are eager to understand or tap into it. If you can develop the psychic skill to truly tap into that universal energy, it can bring you incredible good fortune in your life. If it is something you choose to pursue, 7s can develop psychic powers that border on the supernatural, which can then be effectively used to maximize your success in life. To the many 7s who choose not to follow that specific path, there are still many opportunities to use your understanding of universal energy to your benefit. You have a very good intuitive sense about people, and quickly see through lies and facades. While this makes you unpopular with liars, it sets you up for a lot of success because you aren't drawn in by dishonest schemes. You can also find fulfillment by pursuing art, which can help you articulate your feelings about the world. It's important that you find ways to put yourself out there rather than keeping your feelings locked up all the time. You can go to dark places when left unchecked, but sometimes you don't want to be checked by someone else. Putting your feelings into art, whether painting, poetry, or even just journal entries, uses your intellectual mind to check your emotional mind, since you have to put your feelings through the intellectual process of translating them into art. One final, crucial part of the puzzle for finding fulfillment as a 7 is not to cut yourself off from others. It is not only easy, but understandable for 7s, especially in their youth, to get into a "woe is me, no one understands me" mindset, and if you start out thinking like that as a child, it can be really hard to get out of that thinking pattern as an adult. Let me promise you, there are people who understand you. But it's your responsibility to go out and meet them. If you keep yourself walled off from everyone, then of course it will feel like no one understands you, you're not giving anyone a chance. By developing a strong network of friends, both who share your philosophical nature, and some who are far more grounded, you can come to a much stronger and healthier place, where your philosophy does not impair your ability to function in the world. Final thought: 7 is one of the most complicated of the life path numbers. Your deep spiritual intelligence is so powerful that it is hard for others, or even yourself, to fully comprehend at times. It sets you up in opposition to many structures of the world, which are built without much spirituality behind them. This makes many 7s struggle in life, because they don't fit particularly well into the structures that are expected of them. However, the numerology definition of 7 would be remiss if it didn't take into account the centuries of auspicious traditions surrounding the number. While you may struggle in life, especially in the parts of life that require conformity to the standards of others, 7 will serve you extremely well in protection and fortune. Some of the qualities that may make life as a 7 challenging on the surface, like your probing nature and your serious introversion, are also qualities that will be extremely beneficial to you, if you go into fields that reward them. Choosing a meaningful career is one of the biggest steps that a 7 can take towards success. By deciding on a work path that appeals to your moral and ethical sensibilities, you can become genuinely committed to it. This commitment will help you learn to work better with people, and not to introspect so deeply that you become riddled with self-doubt and philosophical immobility. Finally, developing a strong network of friends and fellows is crucial to the mental health of the 7. You must find people who can relate to your philosophical side, and also people who can help you see the world in a brighter, more optimistic, and/or more practical light. By finding people like this to integrate into your life, you can become better rounded, and avoid the tragedy that has faced some unfortunate 7s. A powerful support network is crucial, and can help bring you to all the success in life that you can possibly desire or imagine. Can you feel the power of your life path number 7? Are you a deeply spiritual person, always probing into the mysteries of the universe and the human soul? Do you sometimes feel isolated and cut off, as if no one understands your thoughts and no one will ever accept you for having them? How will you harness your destiny number's natural energy to fulfill your goals and reach your dreams? Please like this video if you found it useful or enjoyable. Share it to your friends too.